There is something that I just added to the homework. I might add it to other assignments. When you just start the homework, you are going to start seeing something like this. When you click on this, it's going to open a Desmos tab, a Desmos in another tab. I actually took the tab and moved it to a separate window, pulled it out to a separate window and put it next to the homework. So I have two windows open. One has Desmos and one has the homework. Now, personally, I think you should use Desmos Scientific for these homeworks because we are not really benefiting of the graphic capabilities of Desmos Graphic. So that's, if you use the graphic tool, you'll be essentially wasting screen real estate. You are going to have space for graphic that you are not using. I'm not very familiar with Desmos. I saw students use it in the past. I thought it was a good use. And then seeing that some of you might benefit of learning how to use it. So I just worked a little bit on trying to figure it out. Okay, so here we go. I'm going to jump to question 10 in this homework. Okay, question 10 has all these vectors. So one good thing about Desmos, I can come here. I can provide the information that's given to me here. Let's see. So, for example, I'm going to write A. Let me write capital A is equal 15.1. And then I'm going to write A for angle. So I did A underscore A. So I did A, then the underscore key, and then the letter A, equal, and the angle, 32. Okay, and then I'm going to do the same for all of the vectors that are given. Okay, B, 16, 16.6. As I'm slow typing, what I'm going to do, I'm going to pause the video, type the rest of them, and then I'll restart. Now that I have all the variables written, I'm going to start using it for calculations. Like here in the first part of the question, I'm asked to find the x, y, and z components of A. So all what I have to do is, for example, AX, A sub X, okay, and that's equal. And then I look at X, A, it is in the first quadrant, so it's easy. So AX is going to be just A times cosine A underscore A, oops, and that's it, 12.8. And then A sub Y, I can change this to sub Y, and I can change this to sine. So I just copy and paste and put the information there. So in this particular case, so I have my answers right away. 12.8, and then 8.00. And for k, we don't have any component along the k. So I can check that. It is correct, of course. Okay, now, but that shows you how I recommend you proceed. Okay, it's even more powerful because of this. Now, let's say, for example, I come here. Actually, let's come here. Okay, I can do the same thing for B. Oops. B is again in the first quadrant, so that's not going to change anything. Actually, so I'm going to copy this, and then I'm going to go Y. And I'm going to do the same thing for C. Okay. Now here, C is in the fourth quadrant, so the x component is going to still be cosine of the angle, even if the angle is negative, so we're fine. The y is still going to be, oops, so I need to be careful to keep it as a subscript. So this is going to be a sine. And I can go for the D. Now for D in this case, we are in the second quadrant. So, and the angle is given as a positive angle relative to the x-axis. So it's going to be a cosine again, but it's going to be with a negative sign because the negative sign is not provided by itself. And for the y component, I don't have to give the negative sign here, but sine. And then for the f, it is in the third quadrant. The angle is still relative to the x, so it's going to be the negative of f times cosine of f, cosine of phi. The y component is going to still be with a negative sign because it's below the x-axis, so it's going to be sine. So I have all the components calculated now. Okay. So when I'm asked for A dot B, okay, so A dot B, so let's call it S for scalar. So that's going to be AX times BX plus AY times BY. Times is the star key, shift 8, the letter shift 8, and plus is plus. Plus AZ, BZ, but those are zero, so I'm not going to write them. That's it. So that's my scalar product. So if I can write it down here. 225. See, that's immediately there. Now, moving further. For example, what's D cross F? Okay, let's look at vector product help. Okay, so here is lots of work, but this is essentially the result we end up having. I mean, this is very much the same problem we are working on. Okay, but let's see, where's the cross product? Here. Okay, so here are the components at the end. Here is the result of a calculation for the cross product between two vectors. So this is what we have to use. Let's see. What I'm going to do is I'm going to snap this. So that small thing, I'll try to see if I can fit it here on top here. Okay, so it looks like maybe we are successful. Okay, now let me go back to the assignment. So let's say I'm trying to do D cross F. So I'm going to say cross product along the X. That's not, you see, I did it. Let me change that. Let's do product. Product underscore D. I does not like a second one. Does it? No. I'm trying something here. It accepts it. Okay. See, I told you I'm just learning how to use this. But let's say product, you can label it whatever you want. Let me call it P, the first one, or for answer E, let's call it E X. Okay, that's simple. Okay, so what should we have for EX? So it says D cross F. D cross F, if we look at this one, it should be instead of A, we have D, and instead of F, we have B. Okay, let me move this here. So what we are going to have D sub Y times F sub Z and we are going to have a problem because we don't have F sub Z, but F sub Z is 0. So that's going to be 0. And then A sub Z is 0. So that's going to be 0. So here we immediately find out that it is equal to 0. So let's skip that. That's a wasted energy. Okay, let's go to E sub Y, the same thing. I'm going to have the Z component, the Z component. That's going to be 0 as well. So both of these are going to be 0. Okay, now we need to work on the last one. Okay, E sub Z. And that's going to be equal. So instead of A, we said we have D. So that's going to be dx times, instead of B, we have F. So that's going to be F sub Y minus D sub Y times F sub X. So we got it here as 279. You know, so if I would like to use this, I can come like I did before. Copy. And then, so this is F sub Z that I'm looking for. It's going to be the same situation. But actually, D cross F and F cross D are the negative of each other. That's what this is. So I should not really calculate it here. But you get the idea, I hope.